Okay, so this is the layer panel, the most important one. In this you can arrange what layer should be above or below some objects, right? So this button will create a new layer. I will just show you how the layering works. Okay, so wait. So these are the two squares. I will change the color. Wait, in properties you can change the color. See, okay, so now you can see that the red box is in front of the green box. If you just change their layers, then you can see means the one at the top will be in front of the below object. Okay, so now I will show you the various tools. The lasso tool, it is for selecting. Means it is a free selecting tool. You can select in this way, see, and you can then color this area, right? So I will take another color, maybe green or maybe yellow. Okay, so it will not work in the layers that you created using the shape tool. So for that you have to rasterize it. Rasterize the layer, again rasterize the layer, right? Now you can color them. Otherwise make a new layer, you can directly color them. Okay, and press Ctrl D to deselect it. Afterwards there is another tool like the lasso tool. We can also delete what we want using the lasso tool. So I will select like that and click on the layer of the layer that you want to delete something, means the layer in which you want to delete something. So here the layer for the yellow colored shape is this one, so I'm selecting it. Then when you press delete, it will delete the part from the selected one. Again Ctrl D, you can undo by Ctrl Z. See, okay. So now the next tool is crop. You can crop the artboard like okay, so you can adjust it just using the mouse and then press enter. Okay, so next tool, yeah, the paint section. And yeah, you can zoom in, zoom out using holding the alt button and scroll up, scroll down. So now the brush tool. Okay, you can also change your brush size from your hardness, and that I will show you. Okay, so this is the smooth one, and from the about tab, when I reduce its smoothness, it will be hard one. It will not come in a smooth way, means as you the way your mouse moves, it will come as it is. And if I increase the smoothness, it will be a smooth. See. Okay. So now from again, if you decrease the hardness, it will be like some spread. There will be like a spray type brush. It will come. And you can also increase or decrease the size using the bracket keys. And decreasing it, and yeah, deleting this layer. You can drag and drop in the delete icon to delete that layer. Okay, so now the pen tool will be a pencil tool, increasing the size. It will be the hard edge one, the pencil tool. Again, you can change the size from here. Okay, so now in paint there is a gradient tool. I will show you. To make a gradient, use the selection tool or the lasso tool, anything. Okay, I selected like this, made a new layer. In that, right click, gradient. So now I'm changing the color. Here are many options are there. You can also change as per who you want. You can change that by double clicking here, and then you can change the color from here. Okay, so blue and orange. Okay, so this one. Okay, so press OK, and now to draw it, just click at a point and then drag wherever you want. So it will give a shade like that, or if you want in opposite, you can do that. And again, here are many options are there, just like the center one. Select a point from where you want to spread that color and just drag and drop anywhere. Okay, so this is done. Control D. Now text one, you can write text anywhere. Again the select tool, but this is an automatic select tool. Means it will auto detect the edges and select accordingly. For example, see here, first select the layer in which you want to select, then yeah, it will not okay, wait. Okay, so just click on the places where you want to select, it will automatically select it. Otherwise you can also do one thing, Control D. If you want to select it directly, and if there is only that one object that you want to select in that layer, just hold Control and you can see the mouse pointer has changed, and click on the layer icon and it will select accordingly. Okay, so now the magic eraser. Okay, the magic eraser will auto detect. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay, so the magic eraser will auto detect a color and delete that color from the layer. See. Okay, so I will select this layer, and if this is red, it will delete that. Wait, I will merge everything. You can shift select everything and right click, merge layers. Okay, so now I can't just delete that square. So but the square has a constant red color, solid red color. So just click on that, it will delete. Now, yeah, the pen tool. Okay, for that I will delete this. Okay, so pen tool is very helpful when you want to trace something. Okay, so first I have drawn an icon or something like that. I will import that image and I will try to replicate that here. Okay, so just drag and drop anything, any image that you have. Okay, so see. Okay, so again create new layer, and if you don't want to move this image or don't want to change its position, so just click on the layer, and then here you can see the lock icon, lock. Okay, so this image is locked. Now you can't change its position. When you to remove the lock, again click on the lock button. Now you can change its position. Okay, so lock, and now, but when it is locked, now you can't change its properties. So first I will reduce its opacity. Okay, now lock. Okay, now in new layer, select the pen tool. Okay, so here are various options are there. I will show you one by one. Okay, the normal pen tool, what it will do is just it will draw a straight line between the points you choose. Okay, now remove anchor point. Using that you can delete a point, and by adding you can select this tool. Okay, so now pen tool. See, just click. It will draw straight line, not a smooth curve or anything. You can change it afterwards. Means you can smooth these lines using the anchor tool. Wait, I will show you. Okay. So you can see that it just draws a straight line between the points that you choose. So just right click and now convert point tool. Using that, you can change the. Wait, I will show you. So just click on the point and hold the left mouse key, and just move it. You can see. Okay, so I will adjust it according to the image. Wait. Okay, something something like that. Okay, now to deselect means to make a stroke over this line, just select any one of these two and click and right click, then make selection to make a selection, and to make a stroke, click on stroke, then select the pen or brush or whatever. You can experiment on those. I'm selecting your brush. Okay, so see the whatever the property the brush tool has, it will be the same here. Okay, so I will reduce this. Reduce the size, change the color. Yeah. I will delete this one. Okay. So now I will show you using the curve pen tool. I think this is very handy. Okay, it will automatically draw a curve between the points you select. See, this one is very handy. But if you want to make some really big changes, then you can use the pen tool. Okay, so again right click, make stroke path. Okay, so see the property the brush tool has, it will be the same here. Now to deselect that, go in the path tab and just click on the free end. So it will deselect the work path, and now you have that curve. Okay, so now okay, so now I will show you how to. Okay, so I guess the tools are done. Now I will show you some various features that it has. Okay, wait for I will color this one. Okay, something. Okay, let it be. So now for there are many options in filter like the blur. Mostly I use the blur one, and in that you can try experimenting all this. The most I use is Gaussian blur. Then you can increase the radius. You can see its effect. Right, the edges get very smooth and spreads. Okay. Okay. So and yeah, motion blur is there. Again, I will show you it. Okay, now you can see the motion blur, as the name suggests. You can see the effect, just like something. So it is moving in a fast manner like that. Okay, you can change the angle. See, and it will change accordingly. Okay, but you can see as when I use the blur, it affects anything that is in that selected layer. Okay, so just if you want to make one thing, make it on different layer. Now I want to make this on I just want to make the blur for this blue circle. So for that I will cancel, then select lasso tool or any tool, the selection tool, and just select that from the layer. Right click, and then there are two options: copy via layer, cut via layer. If you use copy, it will copy on another layer, or if you want to remove that circle from this layer, you can use layer. Right click, cut via layer. Okay, so now that object is removed from the previous layer. I will delete it. Okay, now when you use the blur, motion blur, it will just affect on that one drawing. Okay, so you can trace any image, download it online, or you take a photo and import here. Okay, so now yeah, now I will show you the various functions or effects you can make. Delete the previous one. Okay, from this clicking on the eye icon, you can just make it invisible. Okay, new layer. Okay, I will now draw something. Okay, and you can duplicate any layer. Okay. And yeah, for wait a minute. Okay, something. Okay, so if I want to change its shape after drawing, you can make it using the transform in transform window. Wait, I will separate it from the layer. Okay, I will draw another one. Okay, I will draw in the same layer. Yeah. So now if I want to change its shape after drawing, press yeah, select the layer that you want to change, then Control T. Then you can see this box. You can edit accordingly, means change, increase or decrease its size. And again, right click here. Now you can see many options are there. Scaling, rotation. Okay, rotation icon. Just go outside the box. Then you can see a rotation icon. Rotate it as you wish. Okay. Right click, and you can see the wrap option. Okay, using this you can change the shape as you want. It is not very flexible, but you can change to some extent. See, just drag and change the points. Okay. And just click it. So now it gets fixed in that shape. Again, Control T. Skew means it will change some perspective. Means here you can see the effect. And yeah, you can try all these options. Also, you can flip. Now flip vertically. See, now it becomes upside down 180 degree. Okay, control that. Okay. So now, yeah, hide this. You can change these colors. This is the one that is above. You can just double click and then change whatever you want. Okay. So now I'm selecting this. Okay. So now if I want to take the color that is already in the layers, you can use the eyedropper tool. Okay. So see if I don't have that color, just click on the color. It will take that color, or in swatches you can select anyone. Okay. So now hide this one. Then yeah. Okay. So now wait a minute. I have to draw it on another layer. New layer again. Okay, yeah. So now if I want to put a shine in this white shape or whatever I had drawn, you can see here the effects button. Okay, so click on that, and here you can see various options are there, like the inner glow, inner shadow, outer glow, drop shadow. Okay, you can experiment all that. I will show you the one that is outer glow. Okay, in this window again you can change, means you can select. If you didn't select that one, you can just select from here. Just put a tick mark to select that effect. Okay, so in outer glow it has a black color. For the outer glow I will change it to, let's say, yellow. Okay, so check the preview checkbox is selected. Now you can just play with these settings. Okay, so that you can increase the spread. You can see the effect there. It is very much. Okay, increasing the range, increasing the opacity, decreasing the noise. I will change to white and increase the spread, I guess, size, increase the opacity. Okay, so you will get outer glow like this. You can just, yeah, you can also change after clicking OK. You can also change from here if you don't want that effect. Okay, you can just hide from here, or otherwise if you want to change its settings again, double click. Again the window will pop up. You can change accordingly. Very subtle spread. Okay. Okay, so again in here you can, yeah, I will show you the shadow one. If I want to shadow to this, okay, it looks like eyeballs. Okay, so I will select them multiple. Okay, select one at a time, and then drop shadow. You can change the shadow color again. Spread. Reduce the opacity, reduce the size. Okay. Change the angle if you want. Okay, so now it feels like it is above the below layer. Okay, now you can also right click, then copy layer style, means whatever the effect now this layer has, you can copy, then click on the any other layer that you want to paste the same effect, right click, paste layer style. Okay, so you can see. Okay, so now new layer. Okay, so now I will show you the animation, how to do the animation, but this will not be a the keyframe animation as you did in the Blender. It will be a what you say, image based, or you can say that sprite based animation. Means how the cartoons, means in anime you can see the animation is means they draw every image for every key. Means they don't use that keyframe animation like that. Okay, they might be using, but most of them, or the traditional type animation. Okay, so you draw various, as in the flip book you can see that you draw for every frame of the animation, and when you move them fast it looks like a continuous animation. Okay, so for animation in Windows you can see the timeline. select that one, then create frame animation, click on that. So now whatever that is visible on the layer, it will put in that frame. Okay, so now we'll quickly draw something, just a simple basic animation. Okay, brush tool. Okay, so okay, so now I will reduce the opacity. Now again, for every frame it will take a layer or multiple layers. So for that I'm drawing on new layer. Okay, so I will lock this one, new layer. Again I will draw over it, but with some little changes like stretching. I will show some stretching. Okay, good. Again I will reduce the opacity, hide the previous one, lock this one, again new. Again I will add a little stretch. Okay, again reduce the opacity. Okay, so stretching is done. I will increase the opacity of all the layers. Okay, so now for animation, just select the layer that you want to show. Okay, so the first frame of the animation will be this one. Again, click on the new layer or duplicate. Yeah, select the second one, then hide the previous one, make the next frame visible. Again, click on the new, hide the previous one, hide the previous one. Okay, so when you play the button, you can see the animation. Okay, it looks pretty funny. Okay, so now to make a loop, it seems like a loop, but not actually. Okay, so again, I will just put the layers in a reverse order after the last frame. Again. Okay. Okay, so now let's play. See, now it looks better, somewhat better. You can change the time for that particular frame visible in the during the play. If I take here, select 2 seconds. In here also 2 seconds. So those frames will remain till those frames will play in the animation till 2 seconds. See, 2 seconds here, 2 seconds here, again 0 seconds. Right. Okay. So this for 2D games, when you want to put some effects or when you want to customize the animation, you can do that using this frame animation. Okay, I will show you the one I made. Okay, so here I did in pixels. I will also demonstrate how to do the pixel drawing. So see, when I press play, see, it's a loop again. But you can't do this when it's in keyframe animation, because you don't have much control over the animation. Just whatever the parts you have, you can just move or scale it, something, or make it opaque or that. But when it comes to keyframe, when it comes to this frame animation, you have much control over the animation. You can put anything, whatever you want, like that. Okay, so if you want to use that in your game, you have to make a spreadsheet that contains all the drawings for each frame that you have in a order. I will show you. See this one. First it stands, then it is in air, again then it somersault. Yeah. So in this way, you have to make you have to put all the drawings in your sheet, then divide them in equal parts. And when you import this in Unity, I guess we will show the importing part in the next session, I guess. Okay. So every frame of the animation you have to draw, then then arrange them in an equally spaced manner. And yeah, now this becomes a spreadsheet. So save this, then import in Unity, then you can show the animation. Okay, so here attack one. So these are very customized. Means you can't show this using that keyframe animation. So the sword effect, these effects. Okay, so you have much control over the animation part. Okay, so yeah, now I will show you the pixel one. For pixel, you have to select a panel or that workspace that has less number of pixels, because here also you can see the pixels, but they are very small. Means you can't do a pixel drawing in this environment. So okay, new. Okay, so now I will reduce the width to, let's say, 40, resolution to 72. Okay, pixel selected. Okay, 40 or 40 square. Okay, great. Okay, so I will remove this. Zoom in. See, now to see the pixels, you can use the grids to differentiate every pixel. Okay, so show, then okay, first extras. After clicking extras, then if the grid is not showing, then in show tab you can select the grid. Okay, so in this now if the grid size is varying, you can change that also from edit, preference, then grid, guides grid. Okay, So change grid line, change it to pixel, then subdivision I have put 1. And yeah, for the grid lines color I have taken light gray, black looks something it's not much. Okay, so press OK. Now you can see the pixels. Now to draw the pixel, if you use the brush tool, that I will reduce the size. Okay, now when you use the brush tool, you can see that the color is spreading, means the gray, white. Okay, so for that use the pencil tool. It has very sharp edges. I will reduce the size to 1. Then you can select 1 pixel. See now here. So in this way you can do the pixel drawing. So I have drawn one. I will show you that. Okay, see. In this way you can do the pixel drawing. Yeah, for the transition animation, you can you have to draw if you want to animate a character, 2D character, then you have to draw that character here with in T position, means with every part that you want to move as a different layer and apart from each other. I will show you the one I did for one of my game. Okay, so see, head I want to change, just move the head. So head in one layer, body in another, left and right, and torch. Okay, I don't want to move the cap, so I put that in the head and cap in the same layer. So just export from here and import in the Unity, and then you can use every part to make a different animation. Okay, so here you can see one of the drawings that I did. It was a tutorial from the YouTube. I just did exactly that in my first year, I think. Okay, so see the glowing effect. I just used the white color and then added glow. Then you can see that it is shining, means it looks nice. Okay, and yeah, in background it is gradient, radius gradient. Yeah, for character, and by also you can do some nice art. Use the same color with by reducing the opacity for that color, darker one nearer, then as it goes far. I have also used the motion blur. You can see this for the buildings behind, and for the clouds also I use the motion blur, and in some places Gaussian blur with very less spread. And yeah, you can just experiment. There are many options. You can experiment all that. Yeah, so I guess that's it for Photoshop. I guess now Adobe Illustrator will be demonstrated after this. Okay. So yeah, there are various famous indie games also that uses frame by frame animation, just like the one Hollow Knight one. It is very famous. So see the depth of the drawing. You can see that how much effort it requires to draw such a scene, and a game has so many scenes, right? And the frame by frame animation provides much flexibility during some special effects. Means you can show that, see, just while attacking the sword's trail, you can see the effect, right? It looks beautiful. And also the Cuphead. See, it is also frame by frame animation. It takes time to make a frame by frame animation, but it looks awesome. You can show the fire effect. Yeah, it is much flexible to show many things using the frame by frame animation.
One important thing to note is what is the difference between Illustrator and Photoshop. The main difference is in Photoshop we use the images are made using pixels, while in Illustrator we are mainly using vectors or paths as they call them. To show you visually, okay, here I drew a line, right? Now in Photoshop, when you zoom in, you will see pixels. You'll see the individual pixels that have made this line. But if you zoom into Illustrator, you'll see no matter how much you zoom in, it is always this line. There's no pixels. So Illustrator makes its drawings based on these things called paths. This blue line you are able to see, that is a path. Okay. I hope you all understood that. Again, Illustrator is mainly used for making, as the name suggests, illustrations. Now, illustrations are basically very simple drawings with mostly shapes and colors. Okay, they don't have like some insane shading or image effects like blurring and stuff. Like you can, but it's very difficult to do so. And they are usually illustrations are mostly like simple images. I'll show you some examples. You can see here, it's just a basic outline with colors. And here's one more example. It's just shapes and colors, simple, but it's very effective and are mostly used in graphic designs. I'll go over the basic tools of Illustrator, and it's very similar to Photoshop, but it's also quite different. Okay, I think I'll start with this thing called an artboard. Okay, an artboard is basically a canvas where you do all your drawings. Okay, so I'll zoom out a little bit. Here you see this A4 size canvas. That is basically your artboard, and you can have many artboards. So to make a new artboard, you can click the artboard tool over here. On the left hand side at the bottom is over here. Its shortcut key is Shift O. Okay. Here basically now you are in the artboard edit mode. You can create more artboards if you want. or even delete all of them. Artboards are where you do all your illustrations, your drawings, and whatnot. Okay. Okay. So more. So think I'll be going a little fast because not many of you are there, and I think we're short on time. But I'll be thorough. So if you want me to repeat anything, tell me. Okay. So you can see here when I hover over here, it says a path. A path is basically anything joining two points, and these points are generally called anchors. And that's how vector art usually works. Okay. It is basically it goes along these paths and draws it. So it's not pixel based. And it has some benefits. Mostly the best benefit it has is you can again like you can make it for all sizes. You'll have only one Illustrator file for let's say a billboard advertisement or even a small postage stamp. So that is the main benefit of vector art. Okay, now I'll go over some tools. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible? I didn't ask.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Okay, I'll go over some basic shape tools. Let me delete this. This black arrow you're seeing, this is the select tool. Not direct select, this is the selection tool, and the shortcut key is B. It is the first tool on your toolbox, which is on the left side. So I think on beginning, all your tools will be like only on one column. So this will be the first tool over here. The selection tool, which is V, which is basically, as the name suggests, it is used to select things. Like click on things, you can select your menus over here, your layers, your tools. Okay. Its shortcut is V, and you'll be using it a lot. So to use Illustrator, I think you should remember these shortcuts very well. So this shortcut is V for direct. Next, I'll teach you about the line segment. Okay. Line segment tool, you can see on the left side, its shortcut key is the backslash. Okay. Line draw tool basically it lets you draw lines. Pretty simple. Okay. If you want to draw like vertical and horizontal lines, you just click shift while drawing your line. So it will go vertical or it will go horizontal, or it can even go 45 degrees. So if you want to snap your lines in like 45 degrees, in multiples of 45 degrees, you basically hold down the shift key and use the line tool to draw. Okay. Okay, I left the shift key on. That's 45 degrees. If you want to delete all this, just you can use the selection tool. You selected all the paths over here, and you can just click backspace and delete. Okay, the next tool I'll teach you is the rectangle tool. The rectangle tool is on the left side over here. You can see, and as you can see in the bracket, its shortcut key is M. Okay. Again, same. It's just used for drawing rectangles. Nothing too fancy. Okay, if you like, again, just like the straight lines, if you want a perfect square, you just press on shift and draw a rectangle. It will give you a square. Okay. Now this is just a rectangle, a sharpest rectangle. If you come under here, if you left click on this tool, you can see many tools over here. There's rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon tool, star tool, flare tool. You can see what each of them does. I'll show you some now. Ellipse tool is also important. Its shortcut key is L. And if you want like a perfect circle, again just press shift and you'll get a perfect circle. Polygon tool, yeah, you can edit the number of sides by just clicking it. Okay, continue. Okay, the main important tools we'll be using is mainly the rectangle tool and the ellipse tool. Okay. Okay, now that I showed you the shape tools, I think, okay, next we can see the direct selection tool. Okay, the selection tool selects complete paths. Okay, so like if you draw a rectangle, let's say, then with the select tool, if you just click on it, it will select the entire path. And sometimes you don't want the entire path, you just want this one anchor. So for that, we use the direct select tool. Its shortcut key is A. So selection tool is B, direct selection tool is A. With A, you can get the selection of one anchor, and you can move it around, do whatever you want. When I'm selecting these paths, you are seeing these anchors as well as these circles. Okay, these circles are basically your corner basically the roundness of your corner. If you just increase it, your corners become more round. And you just pull it outward, and they become more sharp. That's all. Okay. Even you can do it with your direct selection tool. It will just do one corner. Now we'll go about colors. Okay. There are mainly two colors you need to know about. That is the fill color and the stroke color. The fill color, as the name suggests, it is basically the color which fills the path. And right now I have it at no color. This basically red line over here means no color. So it is transparent over here. So if let's say I draw one more rectangle, you can see the rectangle behind it. Now if I put as black, this rectangle color becomes black. If I put it as white, it becomes white, but you cannot see the path behind it. If you want transparent, basically put this no color. Now the other color which is over here, this is the stroke color. The stroke color is basically the color of your outline or the path, color of the path itself. So that also you can change, let's say blue or red. Okay, you can select all that. So again, this is the fill color. It is the color that fills your closed path, and this is your stroke color, which is the color of the path itself. Okay, now that I taught you about the colors, okay, let me teach you about the shape builder tool. Well, let me teach you about basic navigation first. I think I didn't teach you that properly. So, as you know, the select tool is used for selecting all your objects. And if you want to scroll, there's a scroll bar here. You can go up and down, or you can use the scroll button on your mouse. If you want to pan around the, I don't know what it's called, around all your artboards, if you have like an artboard here, then you basically press spacebar and drag with your left mouse. So if you click spacebar, you'll see one hand coming over here. That you can drag with your left mouse button and you will move around. If you have one artboard over here and you are over here, if you want to see it, just drag spacebar and drag. Okay, for zoom, the shortcut key for zoom tool is Z. So just click Z, you get one magnifying glass, then just keep clicking for zoom. If you want to zoom out, then just click Alt and you'll see that plus in the So I think that covers the basic navigation. Okay, what else? What else? Okay, we have. I'll teach you the shape builder tool. This is one of the most important tools which you'll be using to make your illustrations. These are mainly you'll be using Illustrator mainly for making your UI things. You can make them in Photoshop also, but I feel it is easier in Illustrator. So like things like your buttons, your menus, your logos, hopefully. Okay, so the shape builder tool. What the shape builder tool basically does is it joins two paths, two or more paths. Okay, so let's say I have a rectangle here which I created by again click M, drag to create a rectangle. Let's create another ellipse, let's say. So shortcut key L. Okay, let's say I want to merge these two. Okay, I don't want this path over here, this middle part which is in the intersection of both. So I will basically use the shape builder tool. To use the shape builder tool, first you have to select all the paths you want to use it on. So I want to use it on these two, so I'll select these two, the entire thing. Then the shortcut key for shape builder tool is Shift plus M, or it's right over here on the left side over here, shape builder tool. You can see the shortcut Shift plus M. Shift plus M. You are now in shape builder mode. Now you can see this. All these areas are getting highlighted. So if I just drag the mouse from here and into this, you see all those paths areas. This became joined. If I just go from here to here, you'll see this path got reduced. From here to here, again this thing. Okay, now it is not only used for joining. You can also delete some parts on your own. You don't have to join the areas. For that, you just click on Alt. Now, if you click on this path, this entire thing is gone. Okay. If you click on this path, this entire path is gone. Right. So that way also you can do. To do something opposite of a tool, you basically click Alt and use the same tool. It will do the opposite. Most of the time, you can do that. Okay. Now that shape builder is one of the most important tools. As you can see, it is very versatile. So this is a very simple example. Let's try a better example. Okay, let's do a logo real quick. It's not the best logo, but I'll try next. Okay, I'll show you how to duplicate also. I think that will be useful. You want to duplicate, basically just have the path selected and click on Shift D and Alt D and drag. You have duplicated it. Okay, go again. That's it. So now I want to, let's say, make a very simple logo. I'll select all of these and using the shape builder tool. So shortcut key Shift M. Then let's say I want this as well. And okay, so here I've just erased all of this part and I'm using the shape builder tool and I made a very simple logo. The shape builder tool is very useful. I think it's one of the most useful tools. And yeah, so if you want to just add color, you can then use the bucket tool. Okay, the bucket tool is under the sorry. Okay, I don't remember where it is exactly, but the shortcut key for the bucket tool is basically K. Right. Okay, it was under the shape builder tool, the live paint bucket. Okay, so if you want to fill this with colors, basically use the bucket tool to create a live paint group. Then select all your colors. Let's say, okay, I want blue. I want light. And let's put the stroke there. There, you have a very nice looking logo, I think. Okay, so that's the basics I think I've covered. Okay, the last tool I think I'll be teaching you will be the pen tool, which is the uh, most important tool, I would say. I think pen tool and selection shape builder tool are the most important tools in Illustrator. With these two tools, I think you can do anything basically. Okay, let's go with pen tool. For the pen tool, we need a stroke. So this color and this will put no color. Okay, the pen tool. The pen tool is in Photoshop also, but I'm not sure if Shreyas covered it, but I'll cover it here also. The pen tool is basically used to trace objects. The line tool just draws straight lines, right? But not everything is a straight line, and not everything is a curve, perfect shape, like a perfect rectangle or perfect ellipse. So you want to draw things like curves. So to basically draw curves, this pen tool is very useful. So to use the pen tool, first you left click, you will make one anchor, okay? And on left clicking, you will keep making anchors, and they'll basically connect with each other. And when you come close to another anchor like here, you'll see that star turn into a 0 or a circle. That basically means you have formed a closed path. So if you click it, it will form the closed path. Okay. Okay. Now that is for basically drawing straight lines, which is pretty easy, I would say. How to draw curves? To draw curves, for drawing straight lines, you basically click over here, right? So instead of clicking, you drag first. Now you'll see these anchors will pop out. So this is your anchor, and this is, you'll see what it is. See, now I have formed a curve. Okay, it is curving over here. This is basically the tangent to that curve. Okay, and now if I want to make a new anchor and make a more curve, I'll basically do this. And do this. Make curves as much as you. If you just click it, it will not form. It will not exactly form a curve. Okay. So remember, to make a curve, you basically drag, and using these handles you see over here, you can increase, decrease the curve, how much ever you like. It kind of looks like a face, I think. Okay, so that is basically the pen tool. It is mainly used for, like I said, drawing curves. And once you master the pen tool, I think it is very easy to do Illustrator for you. Okay, so let's see if I find one image to trace using the pen tool. Let's say okay, which one should we? Okay, let's do this. Not a good quality. So we'll do this. This is already Adobe Illustrator, but we'll copy this. Okay. See. To just put an image, you can directly copy paste it over here. It is not an issue. Okay. So let me put this. Okay, layers. I think in Photoshop you have understood how layers work. It is the same concept here, exact same. You can hide your layers over here, and this is basically locking. What locking does is it basically makes it so that you cannot edit anything on this layer. Okay, so let's say we do not want to. We have some background image and we have finished it and we do not want to edit. So basically, you just lock it over here, and you won't be able to edit. Okay, let me make a new layer. To make a new layer, you can click this option down over here, create new layer. Okay. Let's see. I'll just decrease the transparency for this. Let's say to decrease the transparency over here. Okay, it's fine. We do not need that much. So I'll be tracing using the pen tool over here. We put a stroke of black color. We'll make it very thick. Say 5. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it. So first you draw the anchor. You want this to curve this side, therefore you will drag your mouse also this side. So here you can see how. To move around the anchor, if you think you have pressed at the wrong place, you can use spacebar. So I think I put it in the wrong place. I'll put spacebar here and drag, keep dragging. Don't trace the whole image. I think you have got the idea. If you have any doubts, you can tell. I'll hide the background layer so you can see how easily we have traced, and you can see how little points we have used. Okay, how little anchors we have used. There's only there's one, two, like there's very little anchors that we have used, and that is the beauty of this painting. And I think it is easily the most useful tool in Illustrator. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, one more tool I can show you is the gradient tool. The gradient tool basically, you all know what a gradient is, right? It is like a rainbow type color. We can take it start like a black and white gradient. You can see it starts from white, it becomes darker, 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 goes to black. That is a type of gradient. Okay, so let's say, okay, you can see the color over here. Now we always don't want black and white. We want some color, so we can always add colors. These are the type of gradient. This is the, I guess you can say, linear gradient. This is radial gradient. Basically, it goes in a circle. And this is the free form, like anything it'll do. Okay. We mostly use these two, the line gradient and the radial gradient. Now, if you want to change the color, yeah, you can double click on these sliders to change your color. Let's say I want blue, so it will put this blue over here. I don't want black over here, so okay, we can put the blue over here. You can adjust these sliders to make like interesting colors. It's not a very good gradient, pardon me. And if you want to add another slider, you can always like just go to the bottom over here, and you'll see your mouse, your cursor becomes this arrow with a plus sign. So just you can add that. Okay. Put this row as. Okay, so that's how you make a gradient. I think I have covered all the basics. Where you have a fill stroke, or you can edit the fill strokes at the top also. And if you want like to increase the size of your stroke, say this is, yeah, or the style of your stroke, you can change it over here. You want to increase the type of stroke, change it here. And also there are many options, you can go through them. To increase the stroke size over here, you can select the points, how many points you want, or you can do from this drop down menu. So yeah, I think that's all. These are basically, I think I went over all the basics of Illustrator.